What's up everyone, welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another Marvel Legends 2-in-1, and today we're going to be taking a look at the two new Deadpool figures from the Sauron Build-A-Figure wave. On the right we have Deadpool in his X-Men uniform, and on the left we have Deadpool in his boxers and a pair of slippers. And also be sure to stick around to the end of the video so I could give you a look at this diorama backdrop that was sent to me by my friend Josh, aka Prime to the First on Instagram. He does a lot of cool diorama things and props and all kinds of awesome stuff for your figures. So I just wanted to take a minute to show off one of his pieces here, so make sure to stick around for that. But let's get right into the figures here. Both of these figures right out of the packaging were a lot of fun, but neither one of them had any big surprises or anything, because both of these figures use a lot of reused parts, things we've seen before. Deadpool in the X-Men uniform here is the same body as Sunfire and the Deadpool back here. Then Deadpool in the boxers is pretty much half of a new sculpt, and then the upper body is just the Bucky cap body. So let's take a closer look at him first. So even though he has a lot of reused parts, the things that are new on this Deadpool are really nice. Like, they did a really good job sculpting these legs. There's all kinds of scars, it looks all messed up. I'd say that it would have looked a little bit better if it had some more paint details, like maybe if there was some red in there. It's pretty much just tan all the way through, so that kind of sucks, but it still looks really good. I really like what they did with that. They really went all out with that sculpt. It's a shame that they didn't put some more care into the paint, because this really could have came out nice. It still is nice, it could have just been a little bit nicer. And then the boxers look good too. You have like these Deadpool heart things, and those all look nice, and the boxers are sculpted good. You know, check all that out. And then here on his feet, he's got slippers. And then one foot has a sock, one doesn't. I think that's really, really cool. So it's really nice sculpting work on the legs. The belt kind of sucks. It's pretty much just brown. There's no paint details on it, even though it has grenades. These things should have been painted green or something. They could have did a lot of cool things with the paint details on here, but they really didn't do anything. So that kind of sucks. And then it has a gun holster, but he doesn't come with a gun that fits in there. So that's all kind of strange, but it does look okay. Like I said, he's got the Bucky cap upper body. He's got the same arms as the Deadpool from the Juggernaut wave. And the head looks nice, but you know what? I gotta say, I'm kind of tired of all these Deadpool smiling faces, because he's not always so goofy. I know he is now, but he didn't always used to be. Like, one panel that stands out in my mind when it comes to Deadpool is one that he was like hanging out in his apartment. I believe he might have had boxers on. I think he had a Hawaiian shirt, and he was chilling watching TV, and then he got a call about some mercenary work. And then he didn't want to talk about it without his mask on, and he was going crazy, screaming, "Where's my face? Where's my face?" He didn't want to talk about any Deadpool business without his mask on. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I wish the figures would reflect like a more serious side of Deadpool. I know that's kind of goofy to say, but he's not always just a clown. I like Deadpool when he was a little bit more tragic, you know. But I believe that those panels must have been in the Cable and Deadpool book. And that's one of the best representations of Deadpool. So I wish they'd go away from the goofiness just a little bit. I respect that he's a goofy character and he's a fun character for people to like, but I always liked Deadpool when he was a little bit more tragic. Anyways, yeah, this figure's really cool, and you know, it does capture that whole goofy feel of Deadpool really good. He obviously took some inspiration from the Figma Deadpool with these boxers and stuff, but I think that's okay. This is a really inexpensive alternative to that. If you don't want to pay $100, $150 for that version, you could go buy this for about 20 bucks, pretty much anywhere. These figures are popping up all over. I found him at GameStop, and then the next day I found him at Walmart, multiples of him, so it seems like he's going to be out there pretty good. But anyways, and now on to the Deadpool in his X-Men uniform, and this figure is really cool too. Again, it's a body we've seen before, but that's okay. I like this body a lot for Deadpool. And I like this. I've always liked this costume. I think that this popped up in the Daniel Way Deadpool run, and I always thought that was cool. I believe he wanted to be part of the X-Men. They didn't want to let him join, so he just kind of made up his own suit and ran around and was being crazy. But yeah, I think this figure is really cool. I think it's a good choice for a Deadpool variant. I mean, a different variation of Deadpool. I think this is a good way to go. And yeah, just all looks good. It has some of the same problems a lot of other Marvel Legends have, like, you know, the loose pieces. But luckily they don't flop around too much. But they're definitely loose. These ones you have to kind of make sure that they're stuck on here, and then they're all right. But once you start posing them and stuff, they do tend to fall down. And for the belt, it's pretty much the same thing as the other Deadpool figure. No real paint details, but here it doesn't stand out as much because there isn't something big and obvious like grenades that are hanging off the side. There's nothing on here that should be a different color, so it all works out fine. And then it comes with the the sheaths, and these look nice, and I believe these are the same swords that we've seen for years, actually, the same swords that came with like the hand ninjas and Ronin and all that stuff. But I mean, they're okay. I feel like we haven't seen them in a while, so I'm okay with that. And yeah, let's check him out. I think he looks really good. And I like the way the XMen logo looks, and I just like this costume design. I like that his mask is still red and it's not yellow, and then he has like red throughout. He looks good. I've always thought that this costume was pretty cool. And one thing that's pretty interesting about these two figures is their heads aren't necessarily interchangeable. And you would think that they would be, but check it out. Let's take these off for a second. This Deadpool head is able to fit onto this body, so I like that, but this one doesn't really fit on here. It could pop on, but it's really, really loose. But, you know, it's not a big deal. That's okay. I guess you can make that work. Maybe get some of that blue tack stuff and just stick it in there and you'd be alright. So I guess that is pretty cool. So you could use this head on the other Deadpool. Same kind of thing. It kind of sits loose, but it does work. And you could put this old 90s Deadpool head onto this body if you'd like. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. But the reds don't quite match up. And there we go. There's some head changes, and they all look pretty cool. I like that they're pretty much interchangeable. But this head that comes from the Deadpool in the back there, it's really tight on this body, but it works just fine. So it gives you some options, makes it so that you could switch between all these different Deadpool figures if you'd like. I do wish that this sat on the ball joint for this body a little bit better. I don't like that it's so loose, but you know, it's fine. And for the accessories, the Deadpool and the boxers comes with these two different guns, and these are the same guns that we saw with Domino, and they're okay, but they definitely look a little cartoony. I believe that they're based on some Nerf guns, and I think that's kind of cool. I think that works a little bit better with Deadpool than it does with Domino. And speaking of the Domino gun, I have it right here, and it's purple. I think that I'm going to switch them out and give Deadpool the purple gun and let Domino keep these black guns. I think it makes more sense for her in X-Force. So yeah, these are cool looking guns, but nothing special. They definitely don't look realistic. And then the X-Men version comes with this gun, and this gun kind of sucks. It's really soft plastic. And I believe it's the same gun that we saw in the X-Force Deadpool figure from the Sasquatch wave. And yeah, I'm not a fan of it. And then he comes with an alternate Madcap head, and I think that's pretty interesting because I'm not sure why they would include this. I know that Madcap is on Deadpool's Mercs for Money team, but I don't think that Madcap ever dressed up as Deadpool when Deadpool was wearing this uniform. I know that he's dressed up as Deadpool in his regular outfit, and then he's dressed up as a version of Deadpool, like a different color or something like that. So I don't know. I think it's kind of weird that they included him with this X-Men Deadpool, but let me show you. It does fit onto the body. Let's see here. It fits right on there, and I mean, it looks cool. I'm sorry, it's not popped on all the way. It definitely looks cool, but I just don't get the point of including this, you know. Maybe they'll like do another wave of Deadpool figures, and Madcap, or the rest of Madcap's body will be like the Build-A-Figure or something. Who knows? But I don't know. I guess it's a fun, cool accessory, but it's just random. And then they also each come with the Build-A-Figure piece. The Deadpool and the Boxers comes with Sauron's torso, and the X-Men Deadpool comes with Sauron's tail. And for size comparisons, no real big surprises. Like I said, if you're a Marvel Legends collector, you're already very familiar with these bodies. As you can see, Deadpool is the same size as Bucky Cap. I thought maybe the legs would add a little bit of height, but it didn't. They're pretty much the same size. And then over here we have the Pizza Spider-Man, and he's pretty much the same size as that body. So there you go for size comparisons. And for the articulation, both of them have the standard Marvel Legends setup, and the only thing that's new is the lower body, so we will cover that. He does have the upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees. There's no swivel at the ankle, but there's the rocking ankles, and of course you've got the up and down. And then his legs could come to the front to about there. He could kick forward a nice amount. These hips actually have a really nice range of motion, especially to the side. Check it out. You could get him to do pretty much the splits. So that's cool. You could get him posed up with his legs all spread, inappropriate and stuff. I'm sure that's what people would want to do with this figure, but yeah, so I'm really surprised with how good the hip joints are. So overall, I really like both of these figures a lot. I think that they're both interesting versions of Deadpool. They could have just given us a re-release of the Juggernaut Wave Deadpool or a re-release of the Sasquatch Wave Deadpool, but they decided to do something more interesting, and I'm glad about that. And even though neither of these are really groundbreaking or mind-blowing, I do think that they're both a really good reuse of parts. And I do like what they did with Deadpool's legs, the boxers, all the sculpting work on there. All that is really good. Some of the accessories are kind of weird, especially with the X-Men Deadpool. Like I said, that Madcap head is cool and everything, but I would have preferred some extra hands. I don't know why none of these Deadpool figures come with extra hands. He's supposed to be like an expressive character. I think, you know, some open hands, some fists, some pointer fingers, some thumbs up, you know, hang loose, all kinds of different things. I think a lot of those types of hands would go a long way on all these various Deadpool figures. So hopefully they consider that going forward. But I'm really happy to have these figures, very happy to be building Sauron. Now let's take a look at this diorama backdrop. So Josh really did a great job with all the details on here. I like that all the bricks are like a different color, and the spacing between the bricks is very subtle. It's not super deep or anything, but you could definitely feel like the indentation. I think that's really cool because whenever I like work on dioramas and I do like a brick wall, I always go too deep with it and it never looks like it should. This looks much more like a real brick wall than I would have made. Then down here you have some greenery growing, and that looks really cool. On this side you have some like weeds coming out of the cracks, and I like how he used different textures. Like down here it's not bricks anymore, it's just like concrete, and I like all this white in here. And for the floor, I like what he did a lot too. The bottom piece here seems like it's gravel or something, and then up here it looks like it's just big concrete slabs. Again, you have the green growing out right here. That looks cool up here, and I love the shading he did here. That's dope. It's very simple, but it's something that could be used in a lot of different ways. You know, a brick wall is pretty generic, so you could do a lot of cool things with it. Or you could just put this on your shelf and, you know, display your figures on there. And it looks super cool on there, so it would definitely add to your display. I have most of my stuff just displayed on glass shelves, and I think it looks cool, but sometimes I want to put together like diorama pieces, and I think something like this would be really cool. And one more interesting thing about this diorama is that it's held together by magnets, so you could just pull it out and snap some pictures if you want. The magnets are really strong, so you don't have to worry about it falling down or anything. But yeah, it's a really cool piece. So I think that's it for my diorama showcase. Once again, Josh, you did a great job on this thing. I could definitely tell you put a lot of work into it. I love all the details, and thanks so much for sending this to me and letting me check it out. And I'll leave a link to Josh's Instagram in the description below, so be sure to check that out. He's got a lot of awesome stuff on his page. He's got a lot of stuff coming out that's really cool. He's about to work on these little arcades, these 1/12 scale arcades, and those things look awesome, and I can't wait to grab one of those. So yeah, he's definitely a talented dude, so be sure to check him out. But anyways, I think that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and thank you very much. Peace.